They poured a building onto my land, so I demolished the foundation. I own a narrow corner lot in a growing waterfront district, just under half an acre, bought 12 years ago when nobody wanted it. It's flat, dry, zoned commercial residential, and it sits exactly where two streets meet before the bridge. That corner matters. It controls access, drainage, and load distribution. I paid $410,000 for it back then. By the time this started, nearby parcels were selling for 3 times that. I wasn't flipping it. I was holding it because location like that doesn't come back once it's gone. The development across the street was supposed to be a mid-rise office building with retail on the ground floor. Public plans showed it stopping clean at their boundary. Then one Monday morning, I heard concrete pumps running before sunrise. By the time I walked over, trucks were lined up and a slab was already half poured, wide, thick, reinforced. Not a sidewalk, a foundation. I pointed at the wet concrete and said, "You know that's my land, right?" The site supervisor looked at the plans in his hand and said, "This is the footprint we were given." An hour later, the developer showed up. He explained it fast, like this was already settled. Their engineers needed additional lateral support because of soil conditions near the bridge. Redesigning would delay the project 6 months and cost, in his words, 7 figures. My parcel happened to be the cheapest way to solve that problem. I asked, "Why didn't you buy it?" He said, "Once it's built, we can resolve it cleanly." Resolve meant I'd take a check after the concrete cured and their leverage locked in. That's why my land. That's why now. Speed and pressure, the poor continued. They even buried my survey pins, so I hired a licensed surveyor the next day. We dug the markers out and snapped chalk lines straight through their slab. The encroachment wasn't inches. It was over 14 feet at its widest point. Nearly 3,200 square feet of foundation sat on my property. At current rates, that land alone was worth close to $1.2 million. City inspectors came within 48 hours. The site shut down. Red tags went up. Developers' tone changed. Now it was offers, easements, temporary use. Numbers started climbing. I told him, "You don't get to rent what you stole." In court, they argued necessity. Their attorney said the building couldn't function without that foundation segment. Their engineer testified about load paths and stress points. My lawyer slid the original approved plans onto the bench and said, then they built something they weren't allowed to build. The judge asked the developer, "Did you have permission to pour on that land?" The answer was no. The ruling wasn't dramatic. It was precise. The encroaching portion of the foundation was illegal and had to be removed in full. No fine, no variance, no after-the-fact approval. Demolition and restoration at their expense. Jackhammers showed up a week later. Concrete that cost them hundreds of thousands was broken apart and hauled off. Rebar cages were cut and dragged away. Their schedule collapsed. Financing paused. Subcontractors walked. A project valued at over $60 million stalled because someone decided my property was cheaper to take than to respect. When it was over, my land was bare again. Survey stakes back in place. Their building footprint pulled back exactly to the line they'd crossed. They poured a building onto my land because it saved them time and millions. So I demolished the foundation because ownership only matters if you enforce it. If this happened to your property, would you have taken the check or would you have made them tear it out too? Like, share, and subscribe for more stories.